Forget the tango halls for a minute. Beyond the postcard image of Argentina, there's a story of incredible wealth, influence, and a legacy stretching back 150 years. It's a story that starts in dusty colonial outposts and ends at some of the most exclusive addresses in all of Latin America. We're counting down the 10 richest Jewish neighborhoods in the country. But this isn't just about money. It's about how that wealth was built, the communities it created, and the mark it left on the soul of Argentina. This is a journey into a world of ambition and resilience that few people ever get to see. So what does it truly mean to be rich in history, rich in culture, and rich in influence? Stick around as we find out. To get a handle on the idea of rich Jewish neighborhoods in Argentina, you first have to know how the Jewish people got here in the first place. Argentina is home to the largest Jewish population in Latin America, a vibrant community of well over 180,000 people. And this community wasn't built overnight. It was forged by wave after wave of immigration, each one bringing its own traditions and fierce determination. The story really kicks off in the late 19th century. The first Ashkenazi Jews arrived, fleeing poverty and persecution in Eastern Europe. They were sponsored by the philanthropist Baron Maurice de Hirsch, who had a wild dream: to create a new life for his people on the vast Argentine plains. These became the legendary Gauchos Judíos, or Jewish cowboys, who set up farming colonies out in the provinces. Right behind them came Sephardic Jews from the crumbling Ottoman Empire and North Africa, carrying the distinct cultures of the Mediterranean and the Middle East. And later, another wave would arrive from Europe, escaping the absolute horror of the Holocaust. All these different groups speaking Yiddish, Ladino, German, and Arabic came to Argentina with the same dream: building a safe, prosperous future. And their story is one of incredible social mobility. They started out as peddlers, farmers, and artisans. Within a couple of generations, their kids and grandkids were becoming doctors, lawyers, artists, and titans of industry. You can literally trace this journey on a map of Buenos Aires, from the crowded tenements of the first settlements to the leafy, elegant boulevards of the city's wealthiest districts. So this countdown isn't just a list of places with high property values, it's a chronicle of that journey. We're defining rich in its fullest sense, not just money, but also historical legacy, cultural power, and communal influence. Some places on our list are rich in the way you'd expect, with some of the most expensive real estate on the continent. Others are rich in a different way, rich with stories of struggle and success, and rich with the institutions that have kept Jewish culture alive for over a century. From the pampas to the penthouses, this is the story of how a community built its fortune in every sense of the word. Number 10. Moises Ville, Santa Fe Province. We start our countdown not in the capital, but in a small, quiet town on the flat plains of Santa Fe Province. This is Moises Ville. Its richness isn't measured in cash, but in the immense historical capital it represents. This is where it all began, the symbolic starting point for organized Jewish life in Argentina. Founded in 1889 by families fleeing Russian pogroms, Moises Ville was the very first successful Jewish agricultural colony in the country. It was a bold experiment, famously backed by the philanthropist Baron Maurice de Hirsch's project to turn European Jews into New World farmers. For decades, Moises Ville was a thriving shtetl on the Pampas, basically a piece of Eastern Europe transplanted to South America. At its peak, Yiddish was the language of the streets. The town had multiple synagogues, a Jewish library, a Yiddish theater, and even a Hebrew teachers' academy. Its founders battled locusts, droughts, and crushing isolation to build a life. This was the raw, foundational wealth of the community, a wealth of pure grit and a shared vision for the future. Today, the Jewish population of Moises Ville has shrunk as younger generations left for the big cities, but its legacy is immeasurable. The town is a living museum, a national monument. It's the origin story for countless Argentine Jewish families. To understand the richness of the present, you have to honor the deep foundational wealth of the past. That's why it's number 10. Number 9. Barracas and La Boca, Buenos Aires. From the plains, we head to the gritty industrial heart of old Buenos Aires, the southern neighborhoods of Barracas and La Boca. This area, near the port, is where a different stream of Jewish immigration first landed, the Sephardic Jews. While the Ashkenazim were settling the countryside, vibrant communities from Morocco and the Ottoman Empire were setting up shop here. In the early 20th century, Barracas and La Boca were working-class districts full of factories and colorful tenements called conventillos. This is where Sephardic families, especially from Syria, started building their new lives. They were merchants and artisans, and they brought with them the amazing smells of Middle Eastern food and the beautiful sounds of the Ladino language. The richness here wasn't in big mansions, but in tight-knit communities and the bustling street commerce. They built their own synagogues, like the stunning Or Torah synagogue in Barracas, which looks like it was plucked straight out of the Ottoman Empire. These places were more than just houses of worship. They were the heart of the community, social clubs, mutual aid societies, and cultural centers. While many families eventually moved to fancier areas as they prospered, Barracas and La Boca remain a crucial chapter. It represents the wealth of Sephardic heritage, a proud and distinct thread in Argentina's multicultural fabric. Number 8. Flores, Buenos Aires. Our journey continues to Flores, a large middle-class neighborhood to the west. The story of Flores adds another fascinating layer, highlighting the success of another key Sephardic group, the Syrian Jews, particularly from Aleppo. As families prospered, many who started in La Boca moved here for larger homes and more space. This was a classic step up the ladder. Flores became a major hub for the Syrian Jewish community, which created a strong, self-contained, and deeply traditional world. This community is famous for three things: tight family bonds, deep religious faith, and incredible business sense. The richness here was often built in textiles, retail, and electronics. If you walk down a commercial street like Avenida Avellaneda, you're walking through that legacy. The area became a commercial powerhouse driven by their entrepreneurial spirit. The magnificent synagogues they built, like the Yesod Hadat Temple, became centers of religious, social, and even business life. The richness of Flores is twofold. First, it's a clear story of economic success. Second, it's the wealth of a tight-knit community that got rich while fiercely protecting its unique identity. Flores is a perfect example of how financial success and deep tradition can create a powerful and enduring form of communal wealth. Number 7. Villa Crespo, Buenos Aires. Next up is Villa Crespo, maybe the most quintessentially Jewish neighborhood in the popular imagination of Buenos Aires. But its brand of richness is totally different. If once was the entry point and Flores the center of Sephardic commerce, Villa Crespo became the intellectual and artistic soul of Ashkenazi Jewish life. Its wealth isn't about huge fortunes, it's about a richness of culture, political ideas, and creative influence. Settled heavily by Ashkenazi immigrants from Poland and Russia, Villa Crespo had a unique vibe. It was a neighborhood of artisans, small shopkeepers, and a growing class of intellectuals, writers, and political activists. For much of the 20th century, this was a hotbed of socialist and Zionist debate happening in cafes and community centers. The Yiddish language wasn't just spoken, it was printed in newspapers and performed on stage. The neighborhood's most iconic landmark is the Teatro IFT, Yiddish People's Theater. Founded in 1932, it became a legendary independent theater and a bastion of Yiddish culture. The richness of Villa Crespo is the richness of ideas. It's the wealth of a community that produced some of Argentina's most important thinkers and artists. It fostered a deep appreciation for education and the arts, values that pushed future generations into the professions and creative industries. You can't put a price tag on that kind of influence, and in that regard, Villa Crespo is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods of all. Number 6. Once, Balvanera, Buenos Aires. If you want to understand Jewish life in Buenos Aires, you have to talk about Once. Officially part of the Balvanera neighborhood, once is the historic heart of the Ashkenazi Jewish community. For decades, this was the first stop for tens of thousands of immigrants from Eastern Europe. Think of it as Buenos Aires' Lower East Side, a dense, bustling hub where a new life began. The richness of once is the richness of a launching pad, the engine room where so many of Argentina's great Jewish fortunes were first built. The streets here tell that story. Starting in the early 20th century, once became the center of the textile and garment trade. Avenues like Corrientes and Pueyrredón are still lined with fabric stores and clothing wholesalers, many founded by Jewish families. This commercial frenzy created a powerful economic base. The small businesses started here grew into massive enterprises over the decades. But once was more than a commercial hub. It was the community's spiritual center. It has an incredible density of synagogues, religious schools, and kosher businesses. Most famously, it's the home of the Amia, the main Jewish community center. The tragic 1994 bombing of the Amia building, which killed 85 people, cemented the neighborhood's place in the heart of the community, turning it into a symbol of immense pain and unbreakable resilience. As families prospered, they moved on, but once remains the economic and cultural wellspring from which so much success flowed. Number 5. Recoleta, Buenos Aires. Entering Recoleta is like stepping into Paris. This is the traditional home of Argentina's old money aristocracy, a place of immaculate palaces in the world-famous Recoleta Cemetery. It's definitely not a Jewish neighborhood by population, so why is it on the list? Because of what it represents, the moment the Jewish community arrived in the absolute highest echelon of Argentine society. The key is on a street called Libertad. Here stands the magnificent Templo Libertad, the first and oldest synagogue in Buenos Aires. Founded in the 1860s by established German and French Jewish families, the current building was consecrated in 1897. Its location is a seriously bold statement. Building such a grand temple in the heart of the city's most aristocratic and Catholic neighborhood was an act of profound confidence. The richness of Recoleta is the wealth of legitimacy. It symbolizes the moment the Jewish community went from being a group of immigrants to being an integral part of the nation. The families who belonged to this temple were among the first to achieve major wealth and social standing. They chose to build their most important institution not in a Jewish enclave, but in the most prestigious neighborhood in the country. It's a powerful symbol of realized ambition. Number 4. Gated communities, Pilar, Nordelta. For number 4, we leave the city and head north to the sprawling suburbs. This is where a new kind of rich neighborhood has exploded in recent decades, the Barrio Cerrado, or gated community. This trend is a game changer in how wealth is expressed in modern Argentina, and the Jewish community is a huge part of it. Places like Nordelta and the country clubs in Pilar are self-contained worlds of luxury. We're talking sprawling mansions with private pools, championship golf courses, polo fields, elite schools, all tucked behind high walls and 24-hour security. This is where a huge chunk of Argentina's modern wealth, including that of many successful Jewish families, has chosen to live. These communities aren't Jewish like Once is. They're mixed, but many have such large Jewish populations that new communal infrastructure has been built inside the walls. Organizations like Judaica Norte serve the growing community in Nordelta, offering religious services and cultural programs. The richness here is unmistakable. It's the wealth of a modern, globalized elite where the ultimate luxuries are privacy and security. The rise of the Jewish presence in these elite enclaves is a clear sign of the incredible success achieved by the descendants of immigrants who once crowded into city tenements. We've gone from the historic heart of the Pampas to the modern fortresses of the suburbs. We've seen how richness can mean history, culture, and trailblazing spirit. Now we're about to enter our top 3, the absolute epicenters of wealth and influence in Argentina today. The stories here involve staggering financial success and the most sought-after real estate in South America. If you're enjoying this deep dive, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. It helps us create more explorations like this one. Number 3. Palermo, Buenos Aires. Cracking our top 3 is Palermo, the biggest and trendiest neighborhood in Buenos Aires. Palermo is really a collection of smaller districts, and within this vibrant area, a modern, affluent, and influential Jewish community is thriving. The wealth here is a mix of high-end real estate, cultural cool, and entrepreneurial energy. The Jewish presence here is diverse. It's where you find young Jewish professionals, tech entrepreneurs, and artists. You'll see them in Palermo Soho with its designer boutiques and buzzing nightlife. But the real money is concentrated in areas like Palermo Chico. This exclusive, embassy-lined enclave is one of the most expensive places to live in Buenos Aires, full of opulent mansions and quiet, tree-lined streets. Living here means you've joined the city's established elite. The Jewish life in Palermo reflects this modern vibe. Alongside traditional synagogues, you'll find contemporary community centers that cater to a more liberal, dynamic generation. The neighborhood is also home to the poignant Holocaust Museum of Buenos Aires, a vital center for remembrance and education. Palermo's richness is where money meets modern cool. The Jewish community here isn't just living in one of the city's richest neighborhoods, it's actively shaping its identity as a hub of business and sophisticated urban life. Number 2. Belgrano, Buenos Aires. At number 2, we arrive in Belgrano, and specifically the sub-district of Belgrano R. If Palermo is trendy wealth, Belgrano R is the capital of established, family-oriented affluence. For decades, this has been the top destination for successful Jewish families looking for a prestigious, tranquil, and deeply communal place to raise their kids. Today, Belgrano is considered the demographic heart of the Jewish community in Buenos Aires. Belgrano R is known for its sprawling English-style mansions and elegant apartment buildings along wide, leafy avenues. It is, by any measure, one of the most expensive residential neighborhoods in Argentina. This isn't flashy penthouse wealth, it's the quiet, confident wealth of doctors, lawyers, and business owners who have been successful for generations. But what truly defines Belgrano's Jewish wealth is its incredible network of institutions. The neighborhood is the epicenter of Jewish education in Argentina, home to elite day schools like Tarbut and ORT. These schools act like magnets, drawing in affluent Jewish families and cementing the neighborhood's status. Belgrano is also dotted with synagogues and community centers for every denomination, creating a dense social and religious fabric. Living in Belgrano means being part of a complete communal ecosystem where social life, religious life, and family life all come together. That powerful sense of belonging, combined with the immense real estate value, creates a wealth that is both tangible and intangible. It's the realization of the immigrant dream on a community-wide scale. Number 1. Puerto Madero, Buenos Aires. And finally, at number 1, we have a neighborhood that isn't Jewish in the traditional sense, but it is without a doubt the richest place in Argentina, and the chosen address for many of the country's wealthiest individuals, including a significant number of Jewish titans of industry and finance. This is Puerto Madero. An ambitious urban renewal project, Puerto Madero transformed abandoned docklands into the most modern and expensive neighborhood in Latin America. With its sleek glass skyscrapers, repurposed brick warehouses, and private yachts, Puerto Madero is a dazzling symbol of 21st century wealth. The price per square meter here shatters records, sometimes hitting $10,000 or more in the most exclusive buildings. This is a realm of pure financial power. While it lacks the communal institutions of Belgrano, its connection to the story of Jewish wealth is undeniable. This is the endpoint of the journey for the most financially successful members of the community. The Argentine Jewish community has produced some of the country's most prominent business empires in media, real estate, and finance. The leaders of these empires are the ones living in the stunning penthouses of Puerto Madero's residential towers. Living here is a statement. It signifies a level of success that transcends the local community and places you in a global elite. So, Puerto Madero is number one because it represents the absolute zenith of financial achievement. It's the glittering modern pinnacle of an economic story that began a century ago with penniless immigrants in the fields of Moises Ville. It is the ultimate testament to the incredible economic heights the Jewish community in Argentina has reached. So, our journey has revealed a story far more complex than just a list of expensive zip codes. We started in the fields of Moises Ville, where richness meant pioneering spirit. We walked the streets of Once, the engine room of immigrant fortunes, and saw how Villa Crespo was wealthy in art and ideas. We saw Sephardic commercial power rise in Flores and the confident stamp of establishment in Recoleta. Then we saw the modern expressions of wealth, the secure luxury of gated communities, the trendy fusion of Palermo, the stable, family-oriented affluence of Belgrano, and finally the glittering pinnacle of Puerto Madero, a symbol of pure financial power. What's clear is that richness for the Argentine Jewish community is a dynamic, evolving concept. It's a story of transformation, from the collective wealth of early settlements to the staggering individual fortunes of today. It covers tradition, culture, education, and extraordinary economic success. The journey from the shtetl to the skyscraper is a testament to the resilience, ambition, and enduring legacy of a community that has helped build the very fabric of the Argentine nation. Which of these neighborhoods surprised you the most? Did our definition of richness change your perspective? Let us know in the comments below. We read all of them. And if you found this exploration fascinating, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into unique communities around the world. Thanks for watching.